Hey viewers, 2Fortis here, and in this video, I'm gonna give you my thoughts on One Piece, the card game. One Piece has been out in the English version now for about a month, and I just wanted to give you my overall kind of thoughts about what I think about One Piece, the card game. I think this video is probably gonna go a little long, but it's just basically gonna be about my thoughts on the game. And so what I've done is I've separated different points that I wanted to talk to you about. And so the first is going to be the visuals. How does it look? Support. Bandai is the creator of this game, so what kind of support is Bandai doing? The gameplay and strategy kind of go together. And how that is going to, how in-depth is the game. Then thematic, is it thematic? And then really one of the biggest questions is it fun? Do I want to continue playing One Piece? And my overall thoughts about the game. So those are the 7 kind of points that I just wanted to hit. And I know this is going to go a little bit long, but the only thing that I can do is compare this game to things that I know of. So other card games that I've played, other games that I've played, mechanics that I've seen, and we'll go from there. So let's first talk about the visuals. So the visuals are very interesting. It seems like it's a collaboration of a bunch of different artists, and some of the visuals seem cohesive, but other visuals seem to just kind of be out there with the artists kind of just doing their own thing. And so that's kind of interesting. I wish the visuals kind of had more of a cohesiveness to it. For example, I'm just gonna, obviously this is gonna be a promo card that I'm gonna use this example for, but in the Uta promo pack, most of the cards are just still shots from the show. I think it's still shots. I'm not sure how that works, or redrawn. And then there's some kind of like manga art, which is fine. But some of those cards, for example, like I said, in the Uta promo pack, there is, I want to say, the Trafalgar Law, which kind of almost looks like a photo of a claymation, and it's just very different than the rest of the cards. Obviously, that's in the promo. So some of the visuals that do look a little bit different, I want to say, are obviously the parallels. You do want to have the parallels to stand out, which are basically alternate arts of cards that are already in existence, and same with the box topper. So I'm going to show you some examples here of some of the parallels and alternate arts here, and some art. But here is the box topper of Nekomamushi. Right there. And so some of the, like, for example, the Don Flamingo parallel just seems very, I believe it's the parallel, it just seems very, like a very different art style. It's very unique, and it doesn't really match with with the rest of the art. So it's very interesting. One of the games that I was playing recently was My Hero Academia, and honestly, I think My Hero Academia is fantastic for the art, especially if you want to compare the difference between, say, the super rares versus the rares. For me, I was having a bit of a difficulty unless I actually just look at the cards. For example, here's the secret rare of Shanks, and down here at the bottom it will say SEC or what rating that is. For some of the promos, here's the Nekomomoshi again. This has a little C, which is because it's the box topper. But I don't know the difference between this Nekomomoshi and the regular Nekomomoshi, which is not the box topper. That one's obviously not going to be full art. You can see that this is full art all the way up to the borders, whereas some of the other arts, actually I don't have an example of that, I'm sorry. But yeah, some of the other borders, here's a Dawn, but that one you can see the border. That one's the special Dawn, actually. And again, you don't really know that it's a special Dawn unless you have the rest of the Dawn. And if you had all these Dawn, it could be like, oh yeah, that's Dawn. So you wouldn't know that this is a special Dawn. There's nothing that says like, oh yeah, this is the special one per box Dawn. So also, like in My Hero Academia, I'm not sure if they're gonna do this in this game, but on My Hero Academia, they say first edition and then unlimited edition, or nothing that says first edition. They just get rid of the first edition. So I'm not sure if they're gonna even have a first edition or even make that distinction. There have been some erratas on cards, but those are only on those specific cards. So I'm not going to. This video is not about speculating what Bandai is going to do, but if they do reprint the first set, is it going to look, exactly the same as these first boxes that came out, or if they even are going to reprint this first set? So ultimately, the visuals, yeah, the visuals they're okay. But like comparing it to My Hero Academia, you can definitely tell the difference between the secret rares, the super rares. Obviously Manga Shanks just looks like pretty awesome there. So that's a really cool card. There are some really amazing cards. The alt art here of the 3-cost Zoro Rush looks amazing. This is one of the most amazing cards in the game, along with this secret rare of Yamato. Yamato looks really awesome as well. Here's a parallel. They call it the parallel, which is the alt art version, but here's a parallel of King, and then here is a parallel of Sanji, which is the counter 2000 Sanji. And then you have the leaders. All the leaders have alt arts, and then so they're basically just zoomed in pictures of the leaders, which is fine. That was King. I don't have any of the other leaders. And then here are some of the promos. Here's a promo Yamato, which looks pretty cool. It does say P on the corner there for promo. So ultimately the art is good. It could have been better. There could have been some distinctions, but it's good. Support from Bandai. So obviously the One Piece card game is sold out, or not sold out in English, but it's not readily available, and if you do want to get it, it's at way over MSRP market price. It's like it's not printed anymore, which again, I'm not going to speculate that. So with that, I think they did underestimate. I think everyone underestimated the popularity of One Piece, especially in the Western market. I really like One Piece. One Piece is for sure one of my favorite animes. But I did not realize that other people also like One Piece. And of course, we are in the Western market. I just want to compare that to Game of Thrones. Fantasy Flight Games a while ago made a Game of Thrones game, which was popular probably, but it definitely wasn't as popular as this game here. Also, it wasn't a collectible card game, so maybe that was a little bit different. The other things you can compare that to are Star Wars. There's been a multitude of Star Wars CCGs, TCGs. Same with Fantasy Flight made the their non-collectible version of Star Wars, and it's just like this market is crazy. So I'm not really sure what's going on with this game. So I'm not gonna dock them points for not printing enough boxes or printing enough cards, because that's just crazy. This is what's going on right now is I'm not really sure. The other support that you can do, I'm lucky that I just happen to live in Seattle basically, and I do have a local scene. I do have a few card shops here in the area that have had One Piece at one point in time. They're sold out now, but they're planning to get more. And so there's a pretty decent player base and community. There's one game shop that I'm actually not able to go to because I'm usually at work, but they run some events. But there's multiple game shops that have been running events, and I've been able to go to one of them, which usually has about 20 to 15 people there. So that's kind of cool that I have a local support community. As far as Bandai goes, they did announce this thing called the Treasure Cup. So the Treasure Cup is kind of interesting. Looks like a bunch of tournaments that are going to be in February. When I first saw this, I was like, oh yeah, it's just another tournament. But I didn't realize, I kind of wish they talked about it a little bit more, that this is kind of going to be the one and only major tournament that they're going to have before probably the next set releases, which is another good thing about the support. It does look like they are going to release the starter deck, the Uta starter deck, or the Shank starter deck. I'm not really sure what you call it. I think it's the starter deck number 5, which should be coming out sometime, I think, in this month or next month. And then set 2, which is going to include the next color black, is going to come out in March, I believe. Early March is when they are predicted to come out. And then they're even planning to release the set after that. I'm not sure. A bunch of people have said some dates. I'm not sure what's rumors and what's not, so I'm not really sure. I'm not going to say anything here, but I do want to say that I think it's going to come out sometime this year, possibly earlier, possibly later. I'm not really sure, but there is going to be support for that game, and as it is kind of interesting that this game is originally released in Japan. So in this current state here, the Japanese, it's released in Japanese first, and then released in English at a later time. And so whether that continues to happen or not, I'm not really sure. And again, people have said certain things based on certain other things that I'm not familiar with. But that's how it is going now. But it does look like that One Piece is still very popular in Japan, and hopefully going to continue its popularity here in America, so that we can continue playing because of what I've seen so far, which might be a little bit of spoiler, but Bandai does look like they are having some support. The other thing I did want to talk about is the prizes for the Treasure Cup. So there's a bunch of tournaments all over. I live in North America, or North America, Canada, and so, or in the U.S. and Canada, And so they have released a bunch of different dates there. And what's really interesting for me, you know, I could have gone to any one of those. And for sure, if you entered the tournament, I think it was like $50 or something to enter. That's fine. You know, the entry prize is great. You know, alternate art cards, I think that's great for the game. Maybe not too many, but I do like alternate art cards. But as the prize, as you get better, as you go, I think it caps. Most of the tournaments are capping out at 512, or something like that. Little bit over 500. And I think those are all, most of them are all sold out except for Las Vegas. So if I were to go to Las Vegas for the weekend, I get there Friday, Saturday, return on Sunday. A few nights hotel, that's going to be $200-300. My flight's going to be $200-300. Some food, you know, I'm spending like $500 minimum, $400 to $500, and then I could buy food. And then I've really never been to Vegas, so maybe I'd want to go see Vegas. Most of the time I'd probably just be playing though. So I don't know, you know, maybe I spend like $600-700 in Vegas. So looking at the prize support there, if you go all the way down to first place, sure, as you go on, you get all these alternate art cards. You know, I'm definitely, if I went there, I would try to get first place, but I'm probably not going to get first place. But the first place prize is a playmat, a box, and an alternate art card. Like literally, you know, the locals that I've been to here, the one that I haven't been to, from what I've heard from other people, you know, there's about, I think there's like 30 to 40 people that show up every time. Like they offer up a box every week, you know, so I have to spend $600 to go like, if I get first place, then I win a box. I mean, maybe I could sell all these like alternate art cards. For sure there's probably going to be some value in some of those alternate art cards. For sure there's going to be the Luffy serial numbered one, but you know, I want that. Wouldn't I want to keep that? I don't know, maybe I could sell it. For sure probably if you sold that Luffy, you could probably recoup. I don't know, maybe it'd go for $500, but I mean, I don't know, don't you want to keep your cards? I mean, you have to get top 16 probably to like even get close to like recouping your cards. I don't know, it's very, very interesting. The experience for sure is going to be really interesting, but like what you're playing for, I mean, if you look at other games like Flesh and Blood or My Hero Academia, like some of the prize pools on that just for like regular tournaments, you're looking at thousands of dollars. Like I feel like with this game selling out, I feel like Bandai needs to step it up a little bit. I mean, I don't know, that's just my thoughts. I really like the game, but I feel like they could just step it up a little bit in prize support. So yeah, again, just my thoughts. For gameplay, the gameplay is really interesting. I definitely feel like after, you know, I can't say I played a lot because I don't have like one person that I can always play with all the time. So over the course of the month, I've entered five tournaments. I've usually done fairly well, gotten a winning more wins than losses, and for the, you know, so I've probably played about 25 games or so. I definitely think there's definitely some strategy. There's more strategy than I originally thought that there was for the game. And actually now that as I'm diving deeper into it, I definitely see that there is more strategy. And then there's also kind of, I don't know, there's one little pigeonhole. I'm not gonna kind of really go into that in this video, but there's one kind of strategy, not strategy, but one thought process that you kind of have to always be thinking about. But aside from that, like I definitely feel like, you know, there is definitely deck construction strategy, and the way your actions that you take during the game, can definitely influence the game. You know, all card games are going to be a little bit of luck, and a little bit on the draw, and then hopefully a little bit more strategy than anything else. And then finally, really, is the game fun? I think it's fun. I really like the game. The game kind of plays. I guess we kind of go back to strategy. Oh, and I forgot thematicness, of course. But the game kind of plays like Magic, where you're kind of playing creatures or characters, and then you use those characters to attack your opponent. Then it kind of goes into kind of more like Flesh and Blood and My Hero Academia, and also the Fantasy Flight game or Asmodee game, Arkham Horror, the card game, where you kind of take control of a character, and your character is going to have special abilities, different life points, and it's going to give you your deck construction restrictions, and then have certain cards that maybe are going to just be possibly, they haven't done this yet, but certain cards are like reserved for that deck, that only that deck or that character can play. So I think that's really cool. And then again, like Magic, you're just basically playing characters and then using those characters to attack and knock out, KO your opponent. It's also kind of like Weiss Schwarz, where you're using your deck to use your life, and how you can only have 5 characters out at a time. There is no back row or front row, but they're all just kind of out there that you can use, and then your deck is your life, or has some kind of mechanic that it uses to become your life. So that's kind of how the game plays. And thematicness, for sure, I think it's very thematic. One of the games that I was playing, I was Kaido, and I was playing against a Luffy, and so I was on the attack. The game was well on its way, and I had some characters that I could have attacked with, and I think I attacked with Queen into Luffy, and then Luffy took the damage, and Luffy had 1 life left. And then so I was able to do that life, and of course you still had to get 1 more attack through, and I still had my Kaido leader card, and the life point flipped the trigger, which is a playable card that they can my opponent could choose to play, and he flipped Gum Gum Red Hawk, which then brought my Kaido down to negative 5,000, and then I couldn't attack with Kaido and win the game. So that was really thematic. That was so crazy. And then the next turn, then my opponent came in with Luffy and killed and KO'd my character. For sure, if Red Hawk was not there, I probably would have won. Almost any other card could have been there. Because it was just my leader Kaido to still attack, and I think I had some Dawn up, and they didn't have very many cards in their hand, so that was pretty much one of the only cards I think that could have saved them, and so that was really a really cool moment. So yeah, I think it's thematic, and yeah, it's as you probably have heard already. Through maybe the tone of my voice or how I'm talking, I mean, my mind is just kind of constantly thinking about different strategies that I can use to make different decks, and what I can do in certain situations, and I'm thinking back about different games that I've played. So yeah, I think it's really fun. It's definitely been on my mind, and I really like One Piece, and I'm glad that this is a really good game, and it's getting some decent support. And I do, like I said, I wish the visuals could. I think the visuals could have been a little bit better. It's really hard to determine what are the more sought after cards, just from the common cards versus the ultra rare or parallel card. You know, obviously it's full border, but even the full border is kind of hard to tell. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts about that. The support for sure. I think Bandai is doing a fairly decent job, but I think they can definitely do better, especially on some of the more major events. The gameplay is fun, it's very thematic, and I really like the game. So tell me what you think about the game. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Thanks. Bye.